Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Boy, oh boy, we're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
The Democrats didn't stand for putting American citizens over illegals. Who are they representing? Who are they elected to represent if it's not the American people? I don't know. I just feel like that should be the most basic requirement in being elected into office, standing and applauding the representation of Americans over illegals. Like, I don't know how you support this party. It really is insane. They didn't stand for putting American citizens over illegals. They didn't stand for voter ID laws, the murder rate being the lowest it's been since 1900, keeping violent criminals locked up. They didn't stand for protecting parental rights. They didn't stand for stopping fraud, because they're the beneficiaries. They didn't stand for any of the angel families, not even Irana's mom. They didn't stand for price transparency, taking on drug cartels, no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security. They didn't stand for the most secure border in our nation's history. They care about staying in power. They don't care about the American people. And it is insane, and they are working against our country. They're working against the people who put them there. They're working against who they're supposed to be representing. This party they're insane. They're too far gone.
This young lady is absolutely right, and I appreciate you guys pulling up today. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot to get into. The American people are sounding off, and their disdain for the Democratic Party is on full display. What the Democrats showcased on Tuesday was a full-fledged mask-off moment for the American people. I don't think most Americans thought or knew that the Democrats were this crazy and this radical. I'm a firm believer. I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it on this channel. When people show you who they are, you must believe them. The midterms are right around the corner. Primaries are happening right now. This is a battle for the nation. This year, if you hadn't thought about getting out there and voting in the midterms, if you hadn't thought about trying to figure out who you should be supporting, the time is now. We got so much to get into, man. So many Americans standing up for America. These daggone Democrats, these representatives, these senators, they forgot that they are out there to serve us, not the other way around. Not the other way around. Hit that like button, share that video, subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Again, I'm gonna show y'all how these Democrats are such hypocrites, and he's some of the biggest copycats. So Donald Trump had his State of the Union address today. It's a bipartisan event, but you know what? The Democrats had already decided most of them were not gonna show up. They doing the boycott. Some of them showed up. Ilhan Omar was there. I seen Al Green, he was there, and they protested while Donald Trump was delivering his State of the Union. Now the funny part about it is they getting so much applause for doing that. But I recall when Donald Trump had his National Governors Association event that's usually bipartisan, and he decided not to invite the Democratic leaning governors, y'all threw a fit. It was all over CNN. Oh, Donald Trump racist because he didn't invite Westmore, the only black governor, blah, blah. We heard so much nonsense about that.
Nobody wants to talk about the fact that he got invited last year and decided not to show up. So which one is it? You get invited, you don't show up. You upset that you didn't get invited? Westmore's a clown. I live in Maryland. Clown. You want to talk about running the state into the ground? That dude has done it.
But now y'all decide to do the same thing. Okay, so we just gonna boycott. We're gonna not show up to an event that's usually bipartisan because we don't like the politics of the president. I'm saying, so which one is it? Is Trump wrong or are y'all wrong? Because you're doing the same thing. And then peep this. This is the funny part about it. When the Super Bowl happened, it was a lot of people who didn't want to see Bad Bunny. I watched the Super Bowl. I watched the halftime show. But it was a lot of people that didn't want to see Bad Bunny. What they decided to do, they decided to have a MAGA Turning Point only halftime show that they watch. So in the meantime, while the Democrats were protesting, what did they do? They had their own Democratic State of the Union going on while Trump was delivering his. So which one is it? Everybody laughed when it was the Turn the Point USA event, but now they get some type of applause. That's why I keep saying these Democrats, such hypocrites. They left and right. They tell you that they hate this and then they do it when it's beneficial for them. I keep telling y'all that.
Yeah, it's rules for thee, not for me. The Democrats are ridiculous. And when the president said that they were crazy, they were absolutely crazy. When you think about their agenda, go down the list. Most of their agenda makes absolutely no sense to most sane Americans. You'd have to be a wicked, anti-America individual to get along with the Democratic Party in this day and age. Yikes.
Want to know why Democrats didn't stand for anything at the State of the Union? There's a reason, and I'll tell you why. It's because they don't have to. When we say that their entire platform is based on just being anti-Trump, that is 100% true. Being anti-Orange Man has become enough for them where they don't have to do anything. They have Democrat candidates from school board all the way up to Senate and Congress running entire campaigns on the slogan, F Trump. And their base is so brainwashed to expect so little from them that that's enough. They don't have to stand for veterans receiving recognition or recognizing the sacrifices of our military. They don't have to stand for families that have lost their loved ones to repeat violent offenders. They don't have to stand for anything, literally or figuratively. And the people that support them do not care. They can make up for all of it just by saying F Trump. And that alone will make their voters think that their candidates are standing for what matters.
You know what's so sad about that? It's true. She's absolutely right. That's the sad part about it. Now, they call those of us on this side of things, those of us that are conservatives, those of us that, support the president, they call us members of a cult. But who's the real members of the cult? We're thinking freely over here. There's civil discourse over here. And when we see things that aren't right, we tend to say something about it. On that side of things, they not only do they have to. That's why a lot of the Democrats, in the State of the Union, when there was good things that was worth standing up for, if you notice, they all kind of looked around to see like, oh, is anybody? Okay, if no one else is, I'm not going to. That goes to show you how many of these people in office are cowards. They are afraid of members of their party. They're afraid of their base. They are cowards, and cowards shouldn't be anywhere near a position of servitude to this nation. They shouldn't be anywhere near a Congress or a Senate. Nowhere near it. There's one person, one Democrat that has the balls to stand up for what is right, that is thinking for themselves. There's one, and it's this guy right here.
The rest of people in my party would stand up and clap for. I clapped with a lot of those things that it seemed like others. Like I stood up and I clapped to recognize the family that lost their daughter, the Ukrainian girl that was stabbed to death, in North Carolina. And I stood up and I clapped that political prisoner from Venezuela. How you can't celebrate those kinds of things. And now I also celebrated all the veterans that were in the audience as well, too. And even more the political things like Erica Kirk. I stood up and I clapped for her as well, too. Now, here, can't we just be more kind to a widow? I mean, we just shouldn't be that long ago that a widow, with young children has her husband murdered, how we can't just acknowledge that as well, too. Wow. Whether white people would attack her, whether the left or the right either. So I'm always going to stand up and clap for things that I agreed with like striking the Iranian, sites now for me. I never worry about who's standing up or clapping. If I see it, I'm going to. If I don't agree with it or whatever, I'm certainly not going to yell and scream and disrupt the whole thing.
I want you guys to see this, and I wanted to throw this up here real quick because it was just announced that Senator Fetterman has a 70% approval rating from the Republicans in his state of Pennsylvania. He has a 62% disapproval rate from Democrats in this state. It's insane. This thing says acting normal makes Democrats hate you. This is outrageous, man. This is outrageous. And they're upset because of this right here. He was the one Democrat that would shake the president's hand as he walked in. And they're upset that, he decided that, hey, I'll stand alone. But you know that old adage, they say the cheese stands alone, right? I like Fetterman. I may not agree with all of his policies. I may not agree with all his politics, but I do appreciate a man showcasing himself as a man willing to stand on his square and willing to do what is necessary to represent the people that put him in the position that he is currently in today. I rocks with Fetterman.
We have to find a way, if we can be in the same room, we can disagree on these things. You don't have to sign off on everything. You don't have to agree with everything. And now, if I hear something that I agree with or I like that, hey, I'm going to stand up and clap for those things. And I think, and if someone's angry that I shook the president's hand as he walked in, I think that's on them. And I think some of the people that were angry that I did that, they didn't really have a problem when Mandami visited with the White House too. So, like, if we refuse to talk to the other side, I mean, that's the only one that really loses. That's America.
He's absolutely right. Again, you're not there. The people did not vote you to be in the Senate or in the House of Representatives to represent yourself. Your job is to represent and serve the people of your state, of your district. That's it. Anything else is ridiculous. But a lot of these people that get into these positions, their egos are so crazy. And like the lady earlier, the other problem is that their base expects for them to act this way, and they don't hold these people to a high standard. And that's why they can do the things that they do, because they know that the sheep that are being led off to the slaughter, they're going to support these people no matter what. So they understand they don't have to do anything, and they can run on F Trump and F the administration and F America and F the American people. They can run on that. And the clapping seals and the sheep of the Democrat Party, they allow it. And it's disgusting, man. They should be ashamed of themselves, but they have no shame.
They can't win without the flank that was on display last night. And these people are lunatics. I mean, they're complete and total. They're transcentric lunatics. And that's their whole base. And if you lose them, if they don't come out and vote, you can't win. So that's why there's nobody normal that can be normal. They have to pander to this.
Well, and that's, I think Fetterman has figured out how to be a Democrat in these times, and it's somebody who has come toward the middle on things and tries to find some common sense. I don't agree with probably 85, 90% of where he is, but he's trying to be decent. And, I think he stood and clapped for the reasonable things. How do you not get excited for Team USA hockey? You saw these filthy rats in the fake news media standing there and acting like they hate America. Last night was so revealing, and President Trump was masterful when he said, stand up if you supporting the American people over, criminal illegal aliens. And people like the seditious Mark Kelly sat there and just stared him down. It was just so revealing. I'm actually glad the president had such a perfect night. It was 100% perfect.
I agree with Carrie. I agree with her 1,000%. I thought the speech was masterful. I said it the other day. It was a virtuoso performance, and it was a mask off moment for Democrats. And here in America, the American people, especially those that either are Democrats but on the fence, or if they are, libertarians or independents, this was a moment. And this, I believe, is a defining moment in our country, and the momentum is swinging away from the wicked, crazy insanity known or insanity as the Democrat Party. Seriously. But you can tell because CNN putting the polling numbers out there, they're also letting it be known that, hey, Democrats are in trouble.
This, I think, is so important to note. After all the events in Los Angeles, after all the events in Minneapolis, after all the events of the last year on immigration, can Democrats actually take advantage on this issue? And a look at the polling suggests actually no, they're in a worse position than they were at this point during Donald Trump's first term. Take a look here. Trust which party more on immigration. In 2018, Democrats had an edge of about 6 points. You come over to this side of the screen now, look at that. Republicans are the ones who actually have an edge on immigration. So this whole idea that Democrats are going to be able to take advantage of the immigration group, of the immigration issue, actually doesn't bear itself out in the polling, despite everything that's been going on. In fact, Democrats are in worse position than they were during Donald Trump's first term.
Yeah, maybe they don't like what Donald Trump, the president, is doing, but they don't think Democrats will do a better job.
Correct. They think Democrats will do a worse job on immigration than Republicans.
All right. What about border security in general?
Okay, border security in general. So this is immigration at large. What about border security? Look at this. Look at these numbers. Hello. Party trusted more in border security. Again, at this point, Trump's terms. Look at this. In 2018, Republicans had a 13-point advantage. If anything, the advantage is a little bit larger now. Republicans up by 15 points. So when you put it all together, you put immigration with border security and the idea that Democrats will be able to take the ball and run away on it, the polling data suggests no. This is actually an issue that Republicans should be more comfortable running on than Democrats. Democrats running on immigration may actually be to the Republicans' advantage.
What about when you compare President Trump with former President Biden?
Yeah, okay. So, we speak about President Trump's approval rating, right, on immigration not being as high as it once was. But I'll tell you who the heck it's a lot higher than at this point in his term, and that's the predecessor, Joe Biden. Look at this, approval on immigration at this point in presidency. Biden was at just 34%. Donald Trump looks a whole heck of a lot better when you compare him to the alternative at 45%. And this, I think, is the big takeaway from this segment, which is you can't just look at something in isolation. You have to compare it to the alternative. And in this particular case, when you take a look at immigration and you compare Republicans to the alternative Democrats, this is an issue that Republicans should really like, and President Trump should like the comparison to Joe Biden.
It's interesting. It may be that it's not as bad as a lot of people would like to think for Democrats, but it might be bad. The Republicans may not be as high as they were a couple years ago.
Correct. They're not necessarily as high as they were during Joe Biden's term, but they are much higher than they were during what I think is the correct comparison, which is during Donald Trump's first term.
The American people see President Trump and the administration as strong and capable. And the things that actually matter a lot to the Americans are the border being secure and the removal of illegal immigrations, which harms the country and harms the citizens in every shape, way, form, or fashion, not just from a criminal standpoint, but also when you think about the wages, because these people come in and they work for lower wages. You also got to think about the fact that these people come in and they, take apartments, they take housing, things of that nature, which drives up rental and home prices. I mean, on top of the fact that there's a lot of these folks that are receiving government handouts that comes directly from taxpayer dollars. The American people are fed up. They're fed up with it, and the polls show it, man.
I think it's absolute insanity. The dude talked for an hour, 48 minutes. I didn't hear a single a single nothing. No filler words. Has a perfect transcript. Transcribed transcript. Number two, literally gave the Democrats a layup. If you support American citizens versus supporting illegal aliens, protecting which one? Stand up. Stood for 3 minutes. All of them stayed seated. I mean, what else? What else do you need to talk about? Interesting stuff. I've never watched State of the Union other than tonight, so that was cool.
I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family or buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box below. Join us tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or join us in general Tuesdays and Fridays, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. If it's your first time pulling up, please let us know so we can properly welcome you to the show. I appreciate the love, support, man. Thank you guys so much for rocking with ARP. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
We won't stop. I won't quit. Stand for the truth. No counterfeit. Real ones rise. Let the fake ones split. Repent for the lie. let the dawn